Welcome into the Do Hard Things Today podcast. It's Kevin Harrison and Jed Blackwell coming to you, helping you to optimize your life. I believe you can optimize that life in 4 areas: fitness, family, finances, and faith. And we're here just to help you along your journey, wherever you are. Jed Blackwell, how's it going? Your side of the table?
Going pretty good. Got vacation coming up. Looking forward to that.
Nice.
First ever road trip. So if I don't go crazy, you'll hear from me in about a week, I guess.
That's right. Road tripping will be a lot of good times, a few bad times.
Yeah. I'm not really looking forward to that much interstate travel, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, well, I mean, what are you going to do? You're all in at this point.
That's true. And I'm going to give myself something to listen to. I'm going to listen to what we're talking about today because we got something pretty interesting. I have a birthday coming up. Be 52 next month.
52? A little bit behind me?
A little bit, because I know that about a month ago, as we're recording this, you turned 53.
Yes, I did.
I don't get to say this much, but I want some wisdom from somebody a little bit older and more experienced.
You want to know what it is to be an old man.
I feel like I got a pretty good idea.
Yeah, it is funny as every year that ticks by, and, as you look at generations and, you start to, the generation above you, is, unfortunately, life, as life goes on, some of those generations are going away. And then you're right in this middle ground of you're still got some of them, but you're starting to be that generation. And, when I turned 53, I took a little time and, not to be melodramatic, but just to look, say, okay, man, you know what, Kevin, what have you learned? Where have you failed? Where have you succeeded? And how does all that work out? And it came down to, I was wanting to come up with something for my kids to share with them. And as I did that, I started thinking, I was like, this is something that's pretty relevant to anybody. And I kind of came up with what I call 7 life lessons, at 53. Not that, 50 is a bigger deal than 53, 60 is a bigger deal than 53, but I don't know. It just kind of pressed down on me of, hey, write these things down and look at them. And then really, Kevin, remind yourself of them, not just encouraging other people, but remind yourself of these constantly, because I think there's some pretty good things. And I think there's some things that if any of us, no matter what stage of life we're in, if we do these, then it's going to help us to be able to be everything that we're designed to be.
I think that's fantastic. And I'm going to disagree a little bit. If you're 52, then 53 is the next most important birthday.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Making it to that next one.
Every one you click off. Yeah. Every one you click off. And that's so true. There's, gosh, as you continue to go through life, you watch and you see people's lives cut short. You see people live long, healthy lives. You see all these different things. And it's just a reminder to, just to make the absolute most of every day that we're given, because every day is a gift.
Well, tell us some of the things that you've come up with. You said you came up with 7 important things. Tell us some of those. Yeah.
And, this list is obviously not exhaustive, and, some of you may agree with some of them or not, but, take them for what they're worth. I have found these things to be true, and I found these things to be very, very helpful. And the first one that I wrote down was, you never lose. You only win or learn. There will be bad days, bad weeks, bad months, or even bad years. Keep pushing forward and don't give up. You're learning. And the reason that one came up is because, when I look back through my life, there's been several times and, several instances to where, I could have felt like I failed. And during those times, Jed, how do you feel whenever you fail at something? What's the initial reaction that you have?
Oh, you're miserable.
You're miserable.
Well, you're mad and you're miserable and you can't believe that's happened, and you want to fix it.
Yeah. And you want to fix it. And unfortunately, a lot of times when we fail, we don't see that as, okay, you've got to fail to be able to succeed. And the failure sometimes starts to define us, and it starts to be something that, okay, I am a failure because I failed. No, You're simply learning. And, it's something that I was thinking about through life of their seasons. And sometimes those seasons are tough. Heck, we just had somebody that came through the office that she's having a really bad day. Somebody that work here that works in our business with us. And my encouragement to her was, hey, look, all these little things on them own are not big deals, but because they're all kind of happening at the same time, it seems like it's just horrible. Just take a deep breath and realize, okay, we're going to deal with these things one at a time. But the thing about learning, it's learning so you can be better, and hopefully you don't repeat the same mistakes twice. And that's the thing of these failures that you have in life, which all of us will have. Make sure you don't have the same failure twice.
And even in success, you have to accept that you're learning too. I guested on a podcast, I guess it's been 3 or 4 months ago now, and they were talking about my journalism background. Somebody said, "When did you feel like you had arrived?" And I said, "I didn't.
Yeah,
I never did. Because you can't let yourself think like that.
Yeah.
I learn something from somebody around me every day."
Mm-hmm. Well, and there's 2 things we talk about this in our business. There's 2 things you better learn to do really fast, and that's win and lose.
Yep.
And because if you win and you just rest on your laurels, I'm like, oh, okay, hey, I have arrived. I am a great journalist.
Right.
And that's it. You're going to look up a year from now and everybody's going to have passed you by.
Right. Because what the world is about is, I just did X.
Yes.
Cool. Do it again.
Do it again. That's right. And when you lose, don't let that loss turn in.
Right.
Right.
Don't do that again.
Yeah. The sports analogy. You have a horrible game and lose a game. What do they always say?
Don't let it beat you twice.
Don't let it beat you twice.
Yeah.
And so win fast, lose fast. And the second one that I came up with, you only get one body and one shot at taking care of it. Make it a priority. I've journeyed through a lot of different things physically in my life. I've been in the absolute best of shape. I've been in the absolute worst of shape. What I have come to realize through the years, and especially as now I've hit the 50s and moving on, is that, gosh, I look around and there's some people that are close to me, some friends I have that are going through some real health issues. And honestly, some of those issues, they're because of lifestyle choices. And as I've looked and I look out and, now that, I have 5 children, and oldest one being 24, and then a 22-year-old and one that just turned 20, the day of this recording, there's going to come a point in time where as grandchildren come, do I want to be able to play with them and do things with them? And, 20 years down the road, when I'm 73, the decisions I'm making right now are going to determine what I'm doing when I'm 73, or if I even make it to 73, and that's just something that we often take for granted. And especially our young folks listening to this right now, if you're in your 20s, 30s, you may even be tuning out to this one like, oh yeah, I got plenty of time down the road to do that. But no, the decisions you're making right now are going to be the decisions that are going to be paying off for you when you're 40 and 50 years old.
And it's a decision. I'm telling you, I wish I had paid a little bit more attention to what I was doing a little bit earlier, because I didn't start remotely trying to take care of myself much until I was 48. And I'm not doing a whole lot, but I'm doing more than I was.
Oh yeah.
Which
you made a big difference.
Yeah. Which is a whole lot. And I just looked around one day, and it's an old saying. I've heard it before, kind of halfway as a joke. And it's, you don't see any really old fat guys. And you don't.
Yeah. You're right.
And I'd like to be a really old guy. So, taking 2 or 3 steps is better than none. Doing something is much better than doing nothing.
Yeah.
And it's that old saying, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and the second best time is now.
Big.
Get started.
Gosh, Jed, that is so true in so many areas.
Yeah.
And sometimes, I'm glad you said that, because sometimes what we do is we look at the situation we find ourselves in and we just think, it's too. And in fact, my last one that I've got on here, we'll talk about that a little bit. But it's never too late. You can start right now.
The guy who helped me the most, and when I was at my heaviest, I said he's a strength coach. I said, look, I need something for the fattest, slowest ninth grade, can't do anything offensive lineman that you can design, and that's what I'm going to do. He said, oh, it's not going to be quick. And I kind of looked at him. He said, did you get to be 330 pounds in a day? I said, well, no. He said, you ain't going to lose it either. So
right.
I'm still working.
Yeah. I mean, it's literally day by day.
Yeah.
It is day by day, decision by decision. But you only get one body.
Right.
Take care of it. The next thing, and this one, gosh, this is one I wish I would have learned earlier in life. Identify energy givers and energy zappers. Don't waste your life with the energy zappers.
I don't know that this isn't the most important one on the list. I mean,
expand on that for us.
Well,
without naming any names.
I'm bad to hit you with a sports analogy. I'm gonna give you a sports story, and I promise it relates back to this. The best old man advice I've ever gotten in my life. I was playing golf with a bunch of friends one time, and one of the guys was an older gentleman, and we had a guy with us who wasn't playing well, and he was slinging clubs and cussing and getting mad and throwing stuff. And I'm not going to call his name, but the older gentleman called him by name. So, what's your handicap? And the guy said, 24. And the older gentleman said, huh. And my friend turned and looked at him and said, what's that mean? He said, you're not good enough to be mad as you are. That changed the whole energy. That old man was an energy giver. No doubt. My buddy was on the golf course, especially something of a zapper. Yeah. And I learned real quick which side of that I wanted to be on. And I'm not good enough to get mad. So I've tried to kind of incorporate that.
Yeah. And the point here is not to throw people out of your life.
Yeah.
It's to put up some boundaries and don't allow these people. If there are people in your life that every time you interact with them, it is sucking the life out of you, then you either address that with them or you start not being around them.
Right.
I mean, that's your choice. You have the right to make that choice and not allow this, or you don't have the right to complain about it if you're still making that decision.
At some point, it's mental self-preservation.
Yeah.
You can't let yourself continue to just get drugged down and drugged down and drugged down and go down the same pattern and not do something to take care of your own mindset.
Yeah. And incorporate those people into your life on a more regular basis that are those energy givers.
Right.
Those people that every time I had somebody tell me one time, they said, if I could only do one thing in life, if I could have one thing that I would say I would want to be said about me, it's like every time I interacted with this person, I left a better person. I left feeling better.
We play trivia on Thursday nights, Bonnie and I. We've got a group chat with our team. And one of them's about to have a baby today as we're recording this.
She'll have the same birthday that Palmer has.
If she'll get here in time. We've got a pool, so I don't know if she's trying to favor somebody here. But every time anybody needs something, or it's just the most amazing positive vibe. Hey, I ate something great. Well, send us a picture. Hey, I made something cool. Hey, let's see it. This baby is on the way, and everybody's kind of rallying around what we're going to do to feed them, where we're going to send the flowers, when does she get to come home from the hospital. Those are the kind of people you need around.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you do. I mean, they're life-giving is what they are, and other people are life-taking. And so steer clear. Number 4, short-term pain leads to long-term pleasure, and short-term pleasure leads to long-term pain. Let me say that again. Short-term pain leads to long-term pleasure. Short-term pleasure leads to long-term pain. Point here being that the stuff that generally makes you feel real good in the moment generally is going to bring some consequences later down the road. The stuff that's hard on you right in the short term, you think about, like you talked about with your health, when all the times you get out there and you were pounding the pavement, out there walking and it's hot and trying to make, making the better decisions about the things that you're eating at that point in time. It stinks a little bit right then, but then you get the payoff down the road.
Your knees feel better when you walk a mile than they do when you eat a Big Mac.
Yes.
Just as an example.
Oh, 100%, man. And all these things interact in together, and you want to talk about something. Now, when you get to be about 53, 52 like yourself and above, what do we talk? We start talking about what? Our joints hurt, our body hurts. I got these aches and other things. I can tell you this is a fact right here. When if at night, if I'm undisciplined at night, and maybe we've got a bunch of sweet stuff in the house. Well, when you sit down and you start eating sweet stuff, generally it's not like you sit down and eat, I'm going to have a piece of this or 2 pieces of this. No, you're going to eat 6 cookies and you're going to eat a whole bag of these. There's these little sour grape things. It's like frozen grapes. They've got this sour candy coating on them. They come in little bags. You can find them in your freezer aisle. If you're listening, they are fantastic. I'm telling you. But I never eat if I open a bag of those, the bag never goes back in the freezer with anything in it. I eat every one of them. Well, guess what? The next day, if I'm going for a run or a bike or whatever, lifting weights, whatever it may be, man, my body aches. I hurt. I won't. And it's like you're paying the price for making that bad decision. And I'm not saying you got to be a teetotaler, never incorporate these things into your life. But generally, it's, we talked about this on a previous podcast. But I was having a conversation with somebody who works in our warehouse. And I'm like, if you knew that next time you lit that cigarette up, you were going to drop dead, would you do it? She said, well, no, of course I wouldn't. I'm like, okay.
Right.
But you do know that everyone that you put in your mouth is leading you closer to that point.
Yeah, they're not 50-50.
Yeah.
And this is a cumulative effect at that point.
It's just like, I know, but I'm not ready to quit right now. I guarantee you if the stakes were, you put another cigarette in your mouth, you're dropping dead right now of lung cancer or whatever it may be. Or if you get that big gulp at 7-Eleven, slam full of Coke or Mountain Dew or whatever your drink of choice is, and you drink it right then, and immediately you're going to go into diabetic shock. How many people are going to drink it?
It'd be zero.
Zero. But it's that cumulative effect. And so that's what we get to. That short-term pleasure, which it is pleasurable. I don't smoke, but I'm assuming it's pleasurable to drag on a cigarette. I'm assuming it's pleasurable to drink a big 44-ounce Coca-Cola at that point in time. But then down the road, you're going to suffer for that. Whereas if you're drinking water and you're having a salad or something healthy, at that point in time, you may be like, man, I'd really like to have that burger and fries and that Coke with it. Well, now you're making those good decisions. So the short-term pain is going to bring that long-term pleasure. It's going to put you in a better spot. All right, let's move on to number 5. You are way more resilient than you think. The negative talk inside our heads keeps us down. Everyone is pushing through something. Breakthrough is there if you'll go find it. Sometimes we talk about kids and how resilient they can be, how fast they bounce back from things. No matter what you're going through, you're more resilient. I would encourage our listeners right now, think back to the worst days of your life. Think back to those times. We've all had times in our life where we really felt like, I don't know if I can make it another day. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get through this. This is so horrible. We've all had those times. You're way more resilient than you think you are. And if you'll just continue to push through, that breakthrough will be on the other side of the mountain. That's the thing when you're climbing that mountain, the trouble and pain and everything else, it's really, really hard when you're climbing to see the other side and to see that there's storms on this side of the mountain. But once you can crest that peak and get to the other side, the sun's going to be shining. And it's just so hard when you're right in the middle of it to keep pushing through. That's where that resilience comes from. Number 6, people matter. Everything else is secondary. What do you think about that one?
I absolutely agree with that. There's no question. That's absolutely it.
Yeah. Gosh, when you think about life and when we're younger, we come out of school and we're on this career path and we're chasing stuff, chasing careers, chasing all this other stuff. And then you kind of get to that other point. And sometimes even when you achieve some of those things, you look around and you realize, man, this really didn't satisfy me like I thought it would. I mean, it always comes back to people, the people that you talk to, your friends, your family, and those that you just interact with. It's about people, and all the other stuff, really doesn't matter. And I would just say, and again, it's especially talking to younger folks, is don't let the people around you suffer because you're on a chase. And because you can chase those things down, and just be very, very aware that when you catch those things, you're probably going to realize that, oh, this was not the answer. People matter.
It's kind of a flippant thing to say, and you hear it more and more. We're here for a good time. We're not here for a long time.
Yeah.
But the second part of that is what's important. We're not here for a long time.
Yeah, that's right.
So if somebody is important to you, they need to know it, and you need to act accordingly.
Well, you think about how fast time flies, how fast this life goes by, and you start to do that. My dad's dealing with some health issues right now, some very serious health issues. Well, when you start looking at these things and you realize that, man, there's a limited amount of time that you may have left with these loved ones. And then what can happen and what you have to protect yourself against is you can start getting paralyzed by regret of time you wish you would have spent, things you wish you would have done, those kind of things. Jed, you talked about it a second ago. It's the best time to plant a tree 20 years ago. Second best time right now.
Yep.
And so, people is that's what matters. You never sit with anybody at the end of their life and them talking about they wish they would have worked more, they wish they would have gone to more football games, they wish they would have done this, they talk about, I wish I would have spent more time with the people that I love, the people that I care about. And so those people matter, and make sure you're investing in them. And the last thing, number 7, and you kind of hit on this one a little bit earlier, it's never too late to chart a new course. When Kentucky Fried Chicken was started?
Yeah, it was definitely the 50s, right?
Yeah, well, the main point is this. Who started Kentucky Fried Chicken?
Colonel Sanders.
Colonel Sanders.
Yeah.
The guy you see, if you go to a Kentucky Fried Chicken, or I think they call it KFC now, the guy with the white mustache and white hair, you know how old he was when he started Kentucky Fried Chicken?
I'm guessing in his 50s based on the theme of this.
He was in his 60s.
Oh, wow.
So he was 10 years older almost 10 years older than I am when he started Kentucky Fried Chicken. It's never too late to chart a new course. And if you're listening to this, and maybe some of these things have hit you right in the gut, and you're thinking, man, I have screwed this up. I'm on the wrong track. Gosh, I need to do that. I need to do this. It's never too late to chart a new course. Well, let me correct that. It's never too late to chart a new course until it is.
Right.
And the day that it's too late to chart a new course is the day that you die. You never know when that's going to be. It could be tomorrow. It could be 50 years from now. But it's never too late to chart a new course. Do what you got to do to do the things that are most important. And listen, I'm no wise sage. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life. I got a lot of things I'd like to do over. I got a lot of things I got some things that I think I've done right. And as I was sitting down and really just journaling through some things, like, what are some things that I've learned over my 53 years? What are some things that I'd like to pass on to my kids and others, people on the podcast or just friends or other things. And these things are the things that I believe for me are the things that are really, really important to be able to do, to have that healthy, fulfilled life that we all want. Jed, any wrap up comments on this?
No, I think this is, some of these things are just so important.
Yeah.
They're so important to realize, and I'm hoping that people will take it as such, as, hey, we're just,
but the hard thing about some of these things, Jed, is they're real hard to measure.
yeah.
I mean, you can measure how many new sales did you make? How many great articles did you write? All those things are very, very easy to measure. These things are hard to measure.
Way hard.
But the problem is you're not measuring them. And then one day you look up and it's like there's nothing there because you didn't do anything about it. So do something about it, guys. Do something about it, guys. And remember what Jed said. I think I came up with this list, but I think Jed had the best thing of the whole podcast, which was the best time to plant a tree 20 years ago. The second best time is today. And guys, if you will plant that tree today, wherever it is, and start doing the work, start doing these things we talked about, I think you're going to be shocked a year from now, the progress you've made, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. And when you get way down the road, you're going to look and you're going to have compounded all these things. And I think your life's going to be in a better spot than maybe it is today. And this goes right along with our thing. All these things. Do the hard things today, and tomorrow will take care of itself.